All right. We're going to
All
do
right.
this right now. And okay, we are on. Welcome to the next episode of the Gospel of Cleveland. This is your boy D Freezy, aka Cleveland for Sheezy. Got a special guest tonight. I was keeping his identity a secret because I didn't know if he wanted to come on as an anonymous or if he wanted to share his identity with everybody. So I was calling him Steve from Atlanta, but since his face is visible to myself and everybody else, let me introduce him properly. His name is Cedric Brown. He's been a friend of mine ever since I've been on Earth. As far as I can tell, I can't remember a time when I didn't know him. We grew up together. We from the same place. Um, he holds a master's degree in statistics, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if
Correct.
I'm wrong. So he is a scientist. He's also a trained martial artist, and he is also a successful businessman in several areas. So everybody, welcome to the show, Cedric Brown. Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
brother. How you doing? How
Thank
you
you.
doing?
I'm doing well, brother.
All right, good, good, good. Yeah, I wanted to get you on. First and foremost, I want to tell you I love you.
I
And
love you too.
you know, I think it's important for Black men to show love to each other. We don't get many spaces to do that, and we don't ever know when it's the last time we're gonna be in front of somebody. So let me first say, first and foremost, I love you. Thank you for joining us. And the thing I want the listeners to know is you and I are best friends. We don't always agree or see eye to eye on everything,
Right.
but we respectfully disagree. And
Right.
so that's important because in this day and time we see a lot of polarization, a lot of people in silos, and it's either my point of view or nothing,
Right.
that's one of the reasons I wanted you to come on. So yeah. Um let's just go ahead and get into it. So I know you and I talk about politics quite a bit, and it is a political season. You care to share your political views with the listeners? And if so, go right ahead.
Well, basically my political views. Well, my background, of course, being black, I voted Democrat most of all my life. Right.
Right, right.
I from the past few years, I've changed. I am not a Republican. I don't vote Republican. I never voted Republican, but
Okay, okay.
I uh, I see the politics as a lot of people see as people they're captured by industrial corporations. So
Right,
they only make really truthfully beneficial uh, policies for those corporations and not anyone uh, like a normal person, right?
right, right. The average
So
Joe.
average Joe, you
Right,
will get only marginals within the margins. It
right,
won't
right,
actually help your life.
right,
So I will not vote for any Republican and Democrat until they tell me different. So
right.
I
Okay,
think it's a waste of vote, right?
okay, okay.
So most people say if you vote for don't vote for Democrat or whatever, you're wasting your vote. I think it's the other way around because until you vote uh, with your policies in mind, which helps you or help just the average Joe, right?
Right,
Nothing's going to change. So I think you waste your vote, especially Democrats, because we automatically vote Democrat anyway, right?
right.
So they don't have to
Basically,
do
yeah.
that for you to
Right,
uh, to actually get your vote. So
yeah.
I will not ever vote for a Democrat or Republican till something changes. So that's my view.
And,
So that's
okay.
kind of
And
how
when
I
you
think.
say change, what kind of change?
Well, there are certain things, and listen. So I believe, like, just for policies that help the everyday individual,
Okay.
and that's not
Okay.
white, black, or whatever, right?
Right.
I agree. Uh, jobs, we came up in Bolton, North Carolina, right? And our
28423.
parents worked at the same place, DuPont, right?
That's right.
And we had a pretty good life, right? We didn't have to worry about eating, nothing like that. You know, didn't have to worry about pretty much anything because DuPont was in our town, and we was pretty much middle class.
Employed most of the adults. If they weren't at DuPont, they was at international paper.
International paper, right? And we had a pretty good life, man, right in the country, right? Better life than some city folks, right? So
absolutely.
But now all of that's gone away. DuPont is not there anymore. But if you live there, so you pretty much gonna struggle. And that's all around the United States, right? So and that's why a lot of people, Republicans, these people in Kentucky that like grew up in the same neighborhoods, that lived with their parents and grandparents, that had a way of life, pretty good way of life. They are angry. Right?
Yes.
Because they can't, they either got to go to the city or they're gonna have to struggle. They got to leave their families that they've been around all their lives, or they're gonna, so
they want to make America great again.
Yeah. And now there's a lot of racism in that, right? Don't get me wrong. Some people are very racist, but some people are just from Indiana, Kentucky, and Trump promised, he never did it. Let me get that right. He promised for themselves. Right. To be clear. Promising jobs in these areas. Coal,
and that resonates.
That resonates West Virginia, you could make a good living in West Virginia for coal, but they don't replace those coal jobs with something else. They just tell people to code. And that's very elitist, right? Right. Some people don't want to be in the office all day coding. They want to be outside doing something with whatever, right? So that's kind of that's one aspect of it. So is healthcare. Like you go to Norway, Finland, they have excellent healthcare, and they're not captured by Canada. Canada's okay, right? But Norway and Finland is already in. They're smaller countries, but they always have the blueprint, right? So
but people hear a program to think that stuff like guaranteed healthcare is socialism, though, and that's a bad word.
I remember you said something, and this is what's the name? All governments has a socialistic aspect, right? So the military, military is socialism. You're gonna drop the right? You don't need you don't need as many wars we have, right? But we
don't. But the defense contractors do.
Right. Yes. Exactly. But we need a strong military because the world is not peaches and roses.
No, it ain't. And Ta-Nehisi, I want to shout out to Ta-Nehisi Coates. He just released a new book called The Message, and he's making the rounds promoting his book. And he made a great point on the CBS morning show. He said, no nation exists through rights. All nations exist through force.
Right.
You don't appeal to someone's humanity and say, I have a right to be a nation. You take it by force.
Right.
I mean, history bears that out. We've never seen a nation that came into existence through peace.
And you really on actuality, rights of a human is based on a Christian, Judeo-Christian aspect. If you don't have a sense of God, there's no actually right of anything. It's only
you have to have a moral compass or something, something to something to guide you in that way to be respectful of others. Yeah, I feel you.
Right, and also on that, and people talk about actually we going off of track a little bit.
We'll get back to it.
But morals in essence, if you don't have a moral lawgiver, there's no morals. Just like if the police, say 55, if the speed limit is 55 and there's no police behind it, then there is no law. Right. You go 65. No, there's no.
Yeah, it has to be enforced. It has to be somebody to enforce.
Right. So that's it. That's
Yeah, yeah.
where
But so getting back to politics is interesting.
yes.
Your position is interesting because it sounds to me like where I was in 2016. In
Mm-hmm.
2016, I could not bring myself in good conscience to vote for either a candidate or the major parties. This
Mm-hmm.
is Hillary Clinton and Trump.
Right.
And
I
you
voted
know,
Bernie Sanders.
I did too. I wrote Bernie in. And everybody they read me the riot act. Oh, it's your fault. You know, I'm like, it's one vote, you know, but I understand it. And I know there are a lot of people. I know it's a lot of black people, and you know, they hype up the numbers, and we're gonna talk about statistics and how all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff works
Right.
a little later. But you know, it's a lot of younger black men that are voting for Trump. But the interesting thing is there are a lot of people that are voting for Trump that also voted for Obama. And
Right.
I can't reconcile that in my mind. How you could I can understand wanting somebody from the outside, but
Mm-hmm.
in which both of them seem to be, but like their ideologies are so diametrically opposed. I don't understand how you could one person can vote for both of those people. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I get it. I mean, you know, and I think I've matured to the point now where I don't get mad at people for their political views. I can agree to disagree, but
Right.
Donald Trump, it's nothing about him that says if you're a person of color that has your interests. Nothing that he's done.
If you're wealthy, anybody's interest he
Well,
has. Right.
yeah,
Right.
that
That's the word.
transcends
Right.
color.
Right.
That
Right.
transcends race.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So also Trump, uh, Trump is only for himself, right?
Facts.
So as I understand it, like he did some polling before the race and he hit areas.
You're right.
Right. So
but that's the Obama formula, right?
Right,
You carve out little pieces
right.
so you can you
so
can sway.
So like Trump was in the now his dad was racist as hell, right?
Fred was Klan member.
Yeah. So you know, there's some of that has to be in it because he's a father, but he before he got into politics, he was like, you know, he like if you're rich and black, he loved you, right?
Right. All the hip hop artists hung out with him. It's umpteen songs with his name in them. Like we messed with Trump up the long way in the 90s. We loved him. Yeah.
Right. So I think he gets where he can get in, right?
Oh yeah. And he was a Democrat. He was a Democrat for a long time, but he's a political operative. He's gonna go where he like you said, he's gonna get in where he fit in.
Right. So he made promises to these like small towns. Man, he had, and I agree. I understand that because I grew up in a small town, right?
Right.
And he got all the small towns, right?
Right.
And but I love Obama, man. I just be honest, right? He didn't do as much as he can. I don't know if he could have, right? But
not in Remain Alive. I don't not what I would have wanted to see. No, he couldn't.
Right. And Cornel West is right in a way. He like I like Cornel West, right? But he hits.
I like him as an academic. I like him as an academic. I don't.
Right.
So my problem with him is when Obama was in office, him and Tavis Smiley were very. They were, and I kind of get where they were coming from. They were like, "This is our time," and like this is another one of our times. And we'll talk about that too. You know, they were like, "This is the time to push the issue and advocate for our interests." And you know, my thing is keep that same energy when it's somebody else, though. You know, I get, you know, I don't like for people to overly criticize our community, people from within the community that over criticize us and don't say nothing to anybody else when they do stuff that's way more egregious. So, you know, but I don't dislike him. I just, you know, he's an academic, you know, and I in that space he's fine, but I don't know that he's a politician. But I understand.
Well, he's not a politician. He's gonna say what he believes, pretty much, if you ask him a question, right?
Yeah,
I think he fights for. I like him a lot. You know,
yeah.
I didn't like him. I understand how he went off to Obama because Obama didn't do as much
No,
as
he didn't. He
he
did.
did, right?
He
But
did.
I don't know if he could. Like, I'm not in those positions, right?
No,
So maybe he could.
but he never. And see, that's where I point the finger at us because, and I'm encouraged because I see a lot more talk about the issues that affect our community now than I did before Obama, because we kind of assumed that because he was one of us that he was going to automatically do what we thought needed to be done, but we
Right.
never got any guarantees on the front end. And that's what you got to do with politicians. You got to get them on the record and say, hey, this is what we want. A, B, C, D. Will you
Right.
do it? And see if they say yes or no. But we didn't. And I, first term for Obama, I was like, okay, he can't do but so much because he's trying to get reelected. But
Right.
second term, he got us. That's what I thought. I said he got us on the second term.
Right.
And he did things, and Kamala is kind of following the same mode, right? She's not addressing us directly, but
Right.
we assume that it's like a wink behind it, right? Like,
Yeah. I know, like, you have to do that to get in, right? Kind of,
you do. You do.
But like when I said my positions, like her talking points was the same talking points from as Biden had when they switched. They just switched it. They never changed the names, nothing else. So you're
Right.
gonna tell me, like, I don't think Biden was gonna do anything about it. Like,
Right.
so I think there's people running behind the scenes, or the Democratic Party is gonna push the issues. Nothing's gonna change, right? Right. So I like
that's a
her.
fair
I
assumption.
like her as the first Black woman. I hope that, but I don't
Right.
think just because she's a Black woman.
She's the face. She's the face of the corporate oligarchy
Yes.
that controls everything.
Yes. And that's the only way they could get her. She get in. I don't think she's bad. Like, she wants to be president. Like, just like, so she's gonna do what they tell her to do, right?
And so in saying that, what I say to people is, we don't have a problem necessarily with the candidates, and I think this is what you're saying. We have a problem with the system as it's designed.
Right.
Because
I won't vote for the system, right? If I think you're part of the system, and I think that's a really what people voted for Trump for, and Obama. Really, they didn't think they were part of the system, right?
Exactly.
Obama came up quick, he could speak, and he had a view of the country that we thought is going to change, right? That was his slogan, right? So that's how a lot of people vote for both, right? Because they think there's going to be a change. It wasn't.
They just want something that's not status quo. They want something that's not status quo.
And we know Trump is going to do like it's not standard, like it's not.
Yeah, but
you can go crazy. One put money in his pocket, right?
Right. But you can go crazy. You can, like, being a contrarian. I'm a contrarian, and I run counter to popular thought all the time. But you don't do it just for the sake of doing it. And he's not doing it just for the sake of doing it. He's doing it to enrich himself, but he's doing a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? Because he's empowering these hateful aspects of society. He's giving them.
But were they already there? Like, there's a saying in the Bible: there is a cherubim that covereth over, not covetous, not lustful, but you conceal stuff, right?
Right.
You bring a lot of stuff to light, you can deal with it. Right.
That's a good point too.
So if you don't never bring it to light, you can't deal with it.
Yeah,
and he brings a lot of stuff to light. But I wouldn't vote for him because it's simple. He's just not the right. I can't just do that. All right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it, and you make a lot of sense, as you always do. So let's talk about statistics. So you were a statistician. We won't talk about where, because we don't want that. We don't want no problems. It was for the government. We'll say that. And I was reading this book. It's called Conspirators Hierarchy, Committed 300, and it talks about polling. And let me read it. It says, much of what we read in our newspapers or see on television has first been cleared by polling companies. This is called public opinion making. The whole idea behind this bit of social conditioning is to find out how responsive the public is to policy directives. To policy directives. Then it says, conditioning process. So it's a company called Yankovic, Skelly and White. They're a polling company. He said that Yankovic told his students that polling is a tool to change public opinion. So my point is, a lot of times when they come out with these polls, they try to make us think that's what people think, but in reality, a lot of times it's what they want people to think. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a lot of manipulation polls, right? It's who you actually poll. Like, so if I poll like a lot of people from southern small towns, you're gonna get conservative views. If and you have to overpoll them because they're smaller. There's not as many, but you have to wait. So you weight them lower to get an accurate what's the name. So waiting and waiting is just you, like, if say you get like the same amount of people from small towns or black as white, there's a lot more white people than black, right? So you got to weight them more. Right. So or there's a lot, if you get the same not proportional in cities to small towns, but you got to get enough for small towns to make it accurate. So you would if you get enough, that's over sampling the small towns. So those weights, if you don't weight them right, you can bias your
outcome,
your outcome.
Your results. Okay.
So there's non-response bias where some people don't like to answer. Maybe black people don't want to answer as much because all kinds of
we don't trust it.
We don't trust it, right? So there's a lot of ways you can do that. I would not I do not look at polls from major I don't take CNN, Fox, or whatever.
So Gallup, Pew Research, the big ones.
Only independent polls. Like, I only kind of do that. Now, what you're talking about is people polling, and so it's harder to do now because people used to have phones where they can look stuff up, but people can use statistics and they can win arguments.
They can frame it in a way to support what they want you to.
Right. So there was a guy, I do jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. I love judo, right? And jiu-jitsu, you meet a lot of different people, right? And we cool, right? But one guy, he's a little like racist, right? I think, right? So right. But we cool, right? We actually cool, right? He teaches stuff. I learned from it, like, so we cool. But he has his views. So so I had this guy, Bongo, and God rest his soul, he passed away. Good dude, man. But
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But he was good too, right? So anyway, he used to fight for Strike Force. Anyway, so he was a shaman, right? So they different, like really different, right?
Yeah.
So
they out here.
Yeah, spirits. He used to go to Jamaica or like Africa and he actually got, like, I don't know how you do it, but he was actually shaman. Like, he got from a shaman, got a shaman, like, so anyway. So he was saying something about police violence at the time, right? And this guy he said, y'all need to you need to think about black on black crime. That's it's 80% of but that's not
Right.
issue. They got mad, right? Like
Right.
they
I'm
almost
sure.
fought when they saw each other, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but he said 90% of black people, you use the statistics. 90% of black people kill black people or something like that. And
Which
when
is
you win
misleading.
the argument, that's 90%. So that's your problem, right? But the thing about 85% of white people kill white people, right?
Exactly.
It's who you know, right? Your wife
It's
is more likely
where
to
you
kill
live.
you, right?
Yeah.
Your wife is more likely to kill you, or your husband is more likely to kill you than anybody else you know.
Than a stranger that you met one time. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that statistic, like when you type in on social media, that wins the argument, right? It looks like it, but
it looks like it.
right. But when you look at it, hey, it's everybody, like white people kill white people. You most likely Latino gonna kill more Latinos. It's high, right? 85, 90%. It's really high.
You kill people where you look at, and you also have to factor in, the housing policy of the United States. We don't live in intermingled communities very much.
Right.
So it ain't, you're not in contact with them to kill them.
Right. And also when we call it adjusting for like socioeconomic and all that kind of stuff, like the little bit of difference, it goes away, right?
Right.
So you can win a lot of arguments by stating statistics, but they're hard to check.
Yeah. And they may be technically true, but they may also be misleading.
Right. It's confounding. So here's a good example. And I don't know if it's still true or not. It was when I was in graduate school, but that's a long time ago, right? So but it was a good example because like it said death penalty, right?
Right.
So if you look at who's killed, the proportions look like the same. Like the people, like white, the more people on death row, the more people, right?
Right.
Like but when you look at who is killed, if you kill a white woman or a white child, you're gonna get out
of here,
right? So they put value on life. The life is lost.
Certain lives.
Kill a black man, you might go to jail, but you ain't gonna get life death penalty, right? So so that's where the bias comes in. So you have to tease this stuff out, right? And if you just look at it in a simple way, because the world is very, very complex.
Right. It's not binary. It's not one or the other. It's multiple factors contributing to
right. And what you have to do, nobody can predict the world 100%, right?
No.
So you have to go to the most important factors, find out and try to address them, and
hope some of the some of the ones further down are corrected by correcting the biggest ones.
As much as possible, right?
Right.
And it's not, the world is not simple.
It's not. Yeah, and the one statistic that I don't ever see really promoted is who is the majority of the people doing these school shootings.
Right. Yeah, we know who that is, right? It's very
we very well know. We very well know.
Well, let's look at it like this, right? Like the multiple serial killers, right? So there's a lot of blacks that do shootings, but it's
community. Yeah.
It's
you did something to me, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah, Chicago. It's like you go Chicago, but that's not like a random act of violence.
No, here in Durham, I've had law enforcement officials tell me these ain't random acts. These people know each other, and something happened. Yeah.
Right. So there is a high amount of school shootings with blacks, but it's a different type thing, right? Right. So
it's not just walking in the door. It's not just walking in the door shooting the first people you see.
Right. For a message.
Right.
So and there are two different problems that need to be addressed. right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
and it's very separate.
Yeah. But so
And
do you think, even though it's two groups doing it, but do you
uh,
think the root may be the same, or do you think the
no,
root is
no,
different?
different, right? It's
Okay.
very different. One, like I think a lot of times we get in these echo chambers. Like a lot of the mass shootings look like a, one is abused. They think abused, like, or
Right.
bullied or whatever,
Right.
and they don't have a good uh,
Support system.
support system, emotional stability. You know,
Right. Right.
like just because I get bullied, like I ain't gonna go shoot people. I just do something else to get around. Like like
Right.
and you don't have your parents coming in, like put them in martial arts, right?
Right.
If you hit the guy one hard, I don't promote violence, but
Right.
like
Right.
that's where you choke one guy out, then
Yeah, but that's
it's over.
that's a healthy environment to do it. Everybody is relatively safe.
Right,
Ain't
right,
nobody
right,
gonna let nobody get seriously hurt. You
right,
know what
right.
I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's controlled to an extent.
right.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah,
the actual teachers and the like, it's a problem. Like why the teachers are not doing something about it, right? So
yeah. Right,
the guys getting bullied in school, like
right.
protect the dude, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you know
And
about it.
yeah, and I often say to myself, like, I'm sure I know I was bullied to a degree. You would,
Maybe, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I was like, I wouldn't be a bully, but I was good at basketball. Like, so I was good at basketball.
that saved you. That saved,
I could do well in school, but I didn't care, right? That's the thing
right.
about
No,
me.
you didn't. You
I
did
did
not.
not care. Like, if y'all do something and y'all want to do it, I didn't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it, right? I never would do
Exactly.
it, right? So
Exactly.
you
And
my
that,
best friend
yeah,
in the world,
right.
and you do something and I want to do it.
You,
I ain't doing it, right? So
that's a true statement. But
yeah.
but I think I'm like, we didn't act out like that for being bullied that I know of. I
Mhm.
don't know when, but we didn't have social media either. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right,
I think
right,
the social media thing puts it on another level because
right.
like now you got the whole school, and I'm so glad we didn't have social media when I was coming along because
Yeah,
golly, tell them what I might have been seen doing.
yeah.
But but yeah, kids are just different now, and you have to be careful and make sure that because like you were kind of intimating about, they kind of like get into these echo chambers on YouTube and get radicalized, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and just feed themselves this stuff over and over, and then
And it's not true, right? It's not it's a simple truth. Like I
right,
would say, like there's something about going back to statistics. Statistics tell something about a group, right?
right, right.
It doesn't tell anything about an individual. So
That's profound.
it, like,
That's
you
profound.
can't
Yeah,
say if some individual comes to you and is and say he's Latino, black, white,
right.
whatever the statistics say does not apply to him because you don't
Not
have at
necessarily.
least 30 people. Right.
Right,
Not really not all, right? It's the group. It's only
right,
the group that you can say whatever they are,
right.
good or bad. On the group, you can start making proclamations, but you can't do it on the individual. It breaks down, right? So,
Wow.
right. So you don't know that. So you have to meet the individual where they are,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's case by case,
Right.
and that's kind of like what I say about racism. Like, I know people if that listen to me and follow me on social media probably think I'm one of the most anti-white. I'm not anti-white. Like you were telling the story about the guy that you played martial arts with. I
Uh-huh.
worked with a guy, and the first day, I think it was my first day on the job, he walked up to me and told me he said, I'm in the club. I said, what club? He said, the club. He was talking about the Klan.
Right.
And
Right.
I said, well, I'm a Black Panther. And we was friends
Right.
and I mean, he would come and find me and I would come and find him and we would talk because I know where you stand and you
Right.
know
Right.
where I stand.
Right.
So like I
In college, I
respect.
tutored a guy that's racist. His dad, he said his dad was in the Klan. His grandfather was like high in the Klan, right? I tutor him. Like, and what they think is, oh, you different, right?
the
a
myth
lot of
of the
times, right?
exception to
Because they don't
neighbor.
know you exception, but you don't know
Right,
enough of them, right?
right,
So,
exactly.
um,
I was talking about that earlier this week. Donald Trump, he was talking about the guy in Florida. He said, "You one of the good ones."
uh,
That's kind of the perception. Like if they get to know you and they like, "Oh, well, you're not," but because it's hard to hate people up close.
yeah,
Once
right.
you get to know somebody, you can't really hate
It's
them.
hard, right? You know their if you know their background and all that kind of stuff, it really
And
hard.
you come to realize they just like you. They just want to provide for their family and have somewhere to stay and something to eat. Everybody
That's a
wants the
good
same
point.
thing. Yeah.
Like so, selfishness, right? A lot of people not racist; they just selfish, right? So
Yeah,
they
explain. Yeah,
white,
yeah.
you're gonna be for if it benefits white people, it benefits me,
Right. Right.
right? So they're not against you; they for themselves,
Yeah.
and
Except
that can, if they have power enough, it can become a real hybrid. Like they don't go out of their way to hinder you, right?
right.
Now,
Right.
some like we can get in when the reparations go, like when
We
people
definitely gonna get into it.
like used to we grew up tobacco. We used to sell tobacco, sell hogs and stuff like that. If you were black, you're gonna get a worse price, right? So, and you get it year after year after year after year after year, and you hope like there was two ways I like from our perspective growing up, and there was worse as because I never formed, right? So it
Right.
got a little bit better, but back in the day they would like we had some family that
That could
had
pass.
blue eyes.
Yeah, that could pass.
It could pass, and they would take your stuff to sell, and you get a better price, right?
Right.
And then and now this makes you feel less than a man. I know it did. You get your I need to charge my I apologize. Let me plug my computer
Okay.
up right
Yeah,
quick.
go for it. All right, family. I hope y'all tuned in. Y'all getting an education tonight. Like I said, yeah. And we got a little bit more for you. So hang tight with us. We both Gen Xers. We trying to navigate this digital space, and stuff happens. But yeah,
I am back. I apologize for that.
ain't no worries.
What I was saying was they used to dress their daughters up in dresses.
Right.
Daughter look pretty, you get a little bit better price. Right. Now, you got a
no
daughter.
No dignity. No
how,
dignity.
How would that make you feel? You got, but your family's got to eat.
Right. Yeah, it's a matter of survival. So
right.
You emasculate yourself, or you allow yourself to be emasculated so that you can eat. And that's that. And so let's just go ahead and go right into reparations, and we'll start. But let's begin at the beginning. What's your position on it?
Yeah, it needs to be done. Right. It's not for slavery. Slavery, you can even we had slavery, but you can leave slavery out. Right. Like so.
Right. You can.
All the Jim Crow laws, all the like, for instance,
housing
74,
discrimination.
Was it 70? Highway 74. What's the interstate that come down our way?
7476. Yeah.
7476. Interstate 7476. Right.
Yeah.
It went through a lot of people's land. Right. And this has come over and over and over again. Right.
Right.
And they would pay you less than other people. And they would put it through your
cut you off, cut your communities. Cut here in Durham, we had a Haiti community. The Haiti community was named after Haiti because of the Haitian Revolution. They called it Haiti. A thing called urban renewal happened, and they drove Highway 147 right through Haiti and cut it in two.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now they're talking about rebuilding it.
Right. Now the thing is, like, those land is the most valuable thing. That's how you like more wealth than anything. So that land in that area, how much is it worth? Like, they'd be millionaires, right? If you kept
right.
So incentive 75, 85 went right through Atlanta, right?
Right.
Like all that is a black.
Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood district.
Right.
They did the same. I mean, when a play work, you keep running it. You know,
right.
so they did it anyway.
Now the thing is, it's some racial. It is racial.
No, it's
racist
racist
and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's also cheap land.
Right.
It's economic.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so you how can I pay less? You're gonna go through the black communities, right? But it's affecting the black communities. Like that is very harmful, right?
And it's less
in Atlanta, right?
Right.
All that is you can see these. If you was an African American through slavery, which we are,
right,
you would all your family, all your generations would experience these. Not one, every generation would experience these, right?
That's right.
Different like
degrees,
different degrees, but all of them would experience this, right?
Corn,
farming, like buying more for cars, buying more for houses, like selling less for houses, like generation and generation. I think Jill Stein says like she has an estimate. I forgot. Like I'm a statistician, you know those. It's like $1 trillion. Like, and she said she capped right. And I can't. Like I hate to give bad statistics, and if I say it, it's going to be a bad one, right? As a statistician, but it's trillions of dollars, and she just capped it and said, "Hey, listen, like this is not the number, but we cap here. This is what we can do." All right. And I might vote for it, right? So if she's going to go out her way and do the numbers, she didn't have to do the numbers.
No, she did more. She did more than anybody else did.
Right. So she investigated it and like so.
Right. No, you're right.
If Jill Stein and Kamala, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So go.
Yeah, and you know, you're talking about, you know, cheap land, and the land. It's a few reasons that our land has always been valueless. You know what I mean? You talk about redlining. You know that like they basically drew lines around where they wanted us to stay and valued them less than, you know, something that was on the other side of the line. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a cycle that they put us in. You know, a subordinate economic class. You know, they basically, you know, and then they say, you know, well, everything is equal now. And I was going to show, you know, you in Atlanta, you know, I'll say that much. That's all I'll say. And I was going to show Forsyth County in 1987. You know,
Forsyth, I don't go to Forsyth, like so. It's known, right? You don't go to Forsyth. They had something else like they
right now today is no, right now today it's known not to go.
Yeah, it's not. Well, not, you know, if you don't, you drive the speed limit, you know, you do all that, like, but if you get out of pocket, man, like you know, right? So you have to know, right? So they had something recently. I hate to laugh. So black people laugh about stuff.
You have to laugh to keep.
You have to laugh about it. You know, we joke about stuff like that, but
because
we've known each other for so long. But also, let's go back to the redlining and all that kind of stuff. I did a project in grad school one time, like EPA. Like I did a project for the EPA, and we did like does Florida. It was Florida. What was it? It was dump sites, and recycling closer to black poor neighborhoods, right? And we like it you know, we of course we found out like yes, like it was significantly that like we have dump sites.
We had landfills and dumps closer to where we lived than others.
So we didn't. You can't know why, right? We didn't know why. Cheap land, whatever, but still, you still have those effects on health and all that kind of stuff. It don't matter why it's done. right?
Right.
So those type things happen. Also, on top of that, of reparations, I've been studying a little bit on epigenetics, and it's a little scary, right?
Okay.
So, like we always
what is
say,
yeah.
it's environment or genetics. We say environment or
Okay.
genetics.
Okay.
So, environment doesn't stuff that happened to you, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It doesn't change your DNA. It kind of turns stuff on and off on your DNA, and
Okay.
it you can
Stuff that you
see.
already have genetically, it responds to your
No.
Okay.
No, like it adds stuff and adds behaviors, like your environment on your DNA,
Oh.
basically.
Okay.
Like, and you give it to your children.
That's the other thing. It's
Yeah,
trauma. They've showed trauma is passed down genetically.
Right. So if you got trauma, it's not just like environmental situations. It's affecting your DNA,
right,
and it affecting your DNA to your children, right?
Right. So for generations to come, the trauma you going through,
right?
Yeah,
it makes it a lot
on.
softer. Now, like, don't let me. I don't want to say that this is the end all be all, because you can change your environments and help, like read and like listen to a positive stuff. All that kind of stuff helps, when you're in that bad situation. But they put on extras, right? Everything's extras, and we know as life we have to fight, right? Like life is a fight, like everybody knows. And I love wrestlers. Like wrestlers, I love them because they don't accept any excuses, right? Like most wrestlers are Republicans, right? Because they don't like that you break your knee or whatever. If it doesn't hurt, they keep going. No excuse.
Right.
You lose, you win, whatever. No excuse.
Right.
And that's a simple way of looking at things, but that's not like reality, right? Sometimes. But
right.
That's how they look at it.
Yeah, and we have a tendency to glorify people who have been through trauma and become successful as if that is the norm. Like we tend to say, well, look at what they did. You can do it. But everybody's not that strong.
Yeah, they might be just narcissistic, right? Right? A lot of CEOs are like, so if you have like, say you have a mindset of a teacher or Sunday school teacher or whatever, which is good for the community.
A
librarian. You get that trauma, you ain't making it.
Right. Because you're not, you're not an alpha or not. I guess that's wrong, but you're not a person who like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care. I'll hit you over your head to get what I want. I step on you to get what I don't care what's going to happen. I'm getting what I want.
Right.
Yeah, now, when you put obstacles in front of people, they're not gonna like say a person is an obstacle, right? Mm-hmm. Some people are gonna be nice and go around. Some people are gonna hit them in the head and move them out of the way, right?
Right.
All right. So, are we going to be Vikings?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Are we going to be Vikings, or just.
Are we gonna have what's called a civilized society?
Right.
So but in order for it to be civilized, it's got to be fair and equitable.
Right.
Else, because nobody's civilized when they're hungry.
Right. No. That
not truly hungry. I don't mean like you just want something to eat. I mean like you haven't eaten.
Right.
I make the point a lot of times. I was at a Kwanzaa festival and a brother was speaking. And he said, and he does work in the community with like trying to feed people and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said he often asks himself, like, how many incidents in the hood happen because the two people haven't eaten well in a few days.
Right. That's right. And also things we see, right?
Yeah.
We got a different values of need, right?
Right.
And
what success is, like
success,
material things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Opulence and extravagance.
Right. And whereas some other countries can live off something and they'll be fine, we see stuff and you eating but your mind of what I need is different.
Yeah, you're
So
absolutely right.
yeah, so you can
And some of that's
start
because of
doing
what
some,
it's programming, right? Like
right,
lifestyles of the rich and famous. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
We, and I talk in the community about that. We got to redefine what success is. Success ain't necessarily the big house and car and a plane and a boat. It's
right,
making sure your family is healthy. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Making sure they provided for, making sure that you are doing what you can for your community so that like you can all be prosperous. It ain't necessarily something material,
right.
but
And
but you
some of the
go ahead.
people I see that they say successful, I look at their families, like, and like, that's not success for me, right?
Right,
And unfortunately, like, my wife passed, so I don't have a family, but I'm hoping,
right,
right?
right.
So, uh, uh, you know, uh, I hate divorce, right? I don't like when a man gets like successful and he gets a new wife, right?
Right. He
Right,
lead the one that helped him get there.
right, right. I
Yeah.
hate that, right? So
He upgrade. He got to upgrade.
you're right. What is that, right? So like, get better together.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that?
But we the trophy wife. That's a
Right,
thing.
right.
That's a thing. It's like you gotta have. It's all about like you said earlier. It's about our eyes. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? What we see and what we want others to see when they see us. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? They want to. Oh, look at him. He got the beautiful wife, and you know what I mean.
Right, right,
But that's not necessarily at the end of the day that's not a legacy. You know what I'm
right,
saying? I'm more interested in legacy. I'm interested in, when I'm dead and gone, my grandchildren or great grandchildren be like, my granddaddy, this and that, you know what I'm
right.
saying? And he did this, you know what I'm saying? That kind
I,
of stuff. But
I
that's
have
where we
a
come from.
right. I have a saying, right? Like, and like I said, I don't have children. I hope I do, right?
Yeah.
But I'll be older, just like Uncle Lawson was older when I was born, right? So
Right.
I might not see my grandchildren. I definitely won't see my great grandchildren, right?
Right.
But I love
Right.
them
Already.
and already, like,
Yeah,
and I like,
for
and with
sure.
epigenetics, right? So there is ways to live such that your children will not fail,
Mm, that's
right?
deep. Yeah, that's
Like,
deep, bro.
so there is a way. Like, my father, I never see him do anything wrong. Like, I
Right.
never seen my father's
Right.
sin or nothing, right? He
Right.
wasn't perfect, but I ain't never seen him do
You
wrong.
didn't. He didn't do it in front of you, whatever it was.
No, no, like, and God bless him. Like, I was around a lot, right?
Right.
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 So grandfather the same way, Uncle often the same way, right?
Right.
So I'm looking at that. I'm like, man, my dad died early, but man,
Hmm.
you
He was a
know,
great man. Rest in
yeah,
peace.
like,
Yeah.
just not, nobody knows him, his name,
Right.
right? Oh, nobody knows Uncle Lawson's name. He
Right.
wore the same type clothes every day, farming clothes, like,
Yeah.
all every day. But
Yeah.
what a man! Like, so, like,
Man.
I could not express to people on here what kind of person he was, right? He
No.
was
Yeah.
like,
No. You can't put. It'd be hard to put it into words.
right. So I said, like, I asked mom, like, if you want to see what love is, that's how Uncle Lawson lived. Never saw him mad. Never
Nope.
see him raise his voice.
Nope.
And Aunt Mally used to. And I remember when he got sick, I didn't know he was sick. And the only time I heard him raise his voice, he had cancer at the time, and I
Hmm.
didn't know. And the only time I heard him raise his voice, and Aunt Mala was yakking, and
Yeah.
he said, "Mandy, hush," and she hushed, right? She hushed. I like,
Right.
you could
Because
have done this for 20 years. What?
right. Right. Right.
I
It's
look
just,
around. I like,
and that's a great point. We like you didn't grow up in the house with your dad, but he was
right,
in your life.
right.
But you had
I
Uncle
had two
Lofton.
dads.
Yeah, yeah. You had Uncle Lofton. You
Uh-huh.
had your Uncle Lofton. And
Yeah.
we had great men. We had great examples of men. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? We did. And yeah, it's difficult to explain how they carried themselves. You know,
Right.
my granddaddy Foster,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he was another one. My granddaddy Billy, he was another one. All, you know, did they thing, quote unquote, but like they took care of their family first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was what was like. I don't understand these young people today that don't have a job or something, because where we was from, every man in the community had a job, and
Did something. Right.
they got up and went to work in the morning, and they was gone until they got off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
like that's where we come from. That's what we
Right.
do. We work hard work and
Mm-hmm.
had some money. They
Right.
had some money.
Right.
You know, just like you was talking about early on. Like we didn't want for very much.
No. We had dirt bikes, go-karts. Like we had a great time, man. We
We
did
did.
right. So also like they would have their jobs, come home, and they would farm, right?
That's right.
Their
That's right.
farming was their second job, you know,
Right.
and they would make like, so they had like 18-hour days, right? So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we would follow them around, you know. I learned
Yeah.
how to use a tractor at like 5-6 years old, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I know
No
how
better.
to do everything. I didn't have to do it, right? I was
Right.
the last one that didn't have to do it, right?
Right. Me too.
My uncle was saying like, this is get an education, this hard work.
Right.
Right.
And same for me. You know, my
Right.
Uncle James, he you know, by the time I came along, he was getting on in age. So like my mama and my uncle, they was in the field and feeding the hogs up and stuff. But like, yeah, I missed it. And I'm not really mad.
Yeah, I did everything a little bit, right? A little
Right.
enough to know how to do it, right? I could
Yeah.
just plant, I could do
Right.
all that kind of stuff, feed the
Right.
hogs, but I didn't have to do it, right? So,
Nah. Yeah.
But what we were saying about reparations is that all this epigenetics, the systematic like commerce that went away from us, right? The systematic ways we didn't have took away our land. Like, so the 74, 76, right?
Mm-hmm.
They gave Uncle Laughlin a price, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this white guy, and I didn't want to mention his name,
right?
So Uncle Laughlin, don't take that. Don't take that. You know, you don't take that. You know, good letters don't take that offer.
Right.
And like what Uncle Laughlin, it was the government, right?
Right.
What are you gonna do? So
eminent domain. They can they can condemn it and take it. Yeah.
Right. He got them to move his house and put it over, because they took that land and we had some more land, put it over here, and like give us the money for the land, which is easily to get a better estimate, right?
Right.
So that's how he got a little bit better. He added to his house because of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. But this white guy like told him.
Yeah, and if he wouldn't have told him, he might have took the first off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people did.
Right. Yeah, of course they did. Like I think Cousin John, that's the guy with the blue eyes.
Right.
Like John, like there's some people got better offers because they thought they were different.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the thing. That's the thing that I think when you talk about opponents of reparations, they are afraid of fair competition from us because they feel like we are going to behave in the same way we've been treated.
Right.
And that's not
right. That's not. It's not really who we are as people, right? Not really.
We don't have any history of showing any kind of vindictiveness or vengefulness. Because if we did when we were free, you know what I say to people all the time is put it in reverse and pretend we freed white people. What would they have done? What their history suggests that there would have been some retribution for what was done. You know what I'm saying? Like far as I know, you know, but we don't do that. You know, we just want to peacefully coexist. That's all we want. Most people I know. Now there are crazy people in every group that want crazy stuff, but in general, we just want the same thing. We just want to have equal rights under the law and be treated the same way in every situation that every other citizen is.
All I'm saying is all the lowballing on goods all the
services.
lowballing on houses and services that we spent more from. I'm not talking about socialism. Like my aunt Manda was one of the first ones that could go to Wilmington and buy from certain stores, but she had to go around the back. I don't care about that, right?
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying I don't care about. I'm not caring about. I'm just saying
The economic effect.
economic where she had to pay more or she had to sell for less,
Right,
right?
right,
That's all I'm saying. Well, she had the first Model T Ford way back in the day, right?
right.
Of the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
First television, TV, like all this stuff right here, but she had to pay more,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right.
all
And just
that,
extrapolate that across all of us.
all of us, every one of us had that to different degrees, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
right, and if you were a farmer, you got it really bad, right?
Yeah,
Because you
they just got a settlement. They
right,
just
right.
got a settlement for decades and decades of it.
Well, in North Carolina, didn't they stop that? Because we supposed to got like for our land, and we never got it, right? Like for
So I don't know. You might need to check on that because the settlement it just came out.
oh
It
really?
just came.
Okay.
Yeah, it just came. It ain't been but a few months. You might need to check on that because yeah, they just got a big settlement, but I can't remember. I was listening to the Carl Nelson show and the guy was talking about it about who had got payments already. And I think it was Oklahoma. I can't remember, but yeah,
But North Carolina used to have actual
yeah, Mr. Hodges, Angel stepdad was in on that settlement,
right.
on that
Oh really?
suit,
Okay.
on that suit. Yeah,
Right.
because his family was the biggest. They were the biggest landowners in Cumberland County, Hope Mills at one point.
Right.
So they exactly what you're talking about. Same thing happened to them. They were
Now
selling
here's
to
a
Fort
story
Bragg.
for us, right? From our side, like so, you know the Smiths, right? That's one that's 1/4 of my family, right? So so they were pretty much white, right? So but my great grandfather married one mulatto woman, right? She had one drop. She looked white, but we knew she wasn't pure, right? So they kicked her out of the family, like, and gave her a whole bunch of land. And like and they like so that land they got like hundreds of acres international paper squatted on. Right. So international paper, a lot of their land is like pretty much, and we went to Aunt Brenda, she went and see if we could sue them. But they said it's gonna be tied up in like it's not
right.
Right.
They're gonna wait you out. They're gonna wait you out and
It'll
file
be
all
too
kind of motions and
expensive.
make you run out of money.
Right.
They'll make you run out of money trying to sue them. Yeah.
Right. So all that kind of stuff. So like that's another instance, right? It's just squatted on it. International paper was $1 billion.
And they said, what you gonna do about it?
Right. What is that? So basically,
yeah, and money gives you protection. That's the other thing. Like it protects you from people doing stuff like that to you.
Right.
If y'all had received fair market value for your crops and your land, then you might have enough to fight them.
Right. Yeah. Or if they bought it like we went sell, like people asked me to sell the land we have now, you know, family land. Not because a lot of our land now is like was TB land, right? So tuberculosis was outright, but when we bought it from they allowed us to buy it, right? Because it was TB land, so nobody could use it. But when they had a cure for TB, then the land was good.
Right.
So
I never heard that term before. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, we call it TB. That might be a Brown thing, right?
Okay.
So it was tuberculosis, and it was pretty much a non-usable land anymore.
Right, because it was contaminated. They
contaminated land, right? And so when they had the cure, then but now people try to buy it. I ain't selling it.
Right? No, you don't sell land. You don't
land.
sell
So
land. What I was
I'm thinking
told,
about leasing it, but like see if I can lease it, right?
right,
So I
right,
got to
right.
figure that out too.
Yeah, what I
So,
was told by one of my mentors is you keep land until it's spoiled. You don't sell no land. Yeah, you know, you
right,
need to try to buy some more if you can. You don't,
right,
yeah, and same thing for me. People call me all the time. What you gonna do with what I'm doing with it now?
right.
It ain't costing me. I have to pay taxes on it, but other
Yeah,
than that, like it ain't
right,
costing me nothing. So I ain't in no. Thanks be to the creator. I ain't in no place where a hard spot where I got
right,
to do it, and I really want to pass it on. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like it was passed on to me.
Right. I'm thinking about trying to see if we want to lease it because it's just sitting there, right? And
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
somebody want to develop it or whatever, and then
right.
like a few years and like make the money off of it, and then it
Yeah,
comes back, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
then we
yeah,
got to
yeah. That's
develop
not a bad idea,
it.
but
I'm
it's
thinking
still
about
yours, and
it.
you
Yeah,
can terminate the lease anytime you get ready.
right, right. It's renewable,
Right,
and let them make some money off of it or put the money in it. What's the name? Get their money back off of it,
right.
and let it like. So I'm trying to think. I just thought about it, so that's something we can talk about it later or after.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
brother. We're at about an hour. I usually try to keep it to right about an hour because people got ADHD.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So, man, I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful conversation, very educational, and like I said, you're one of the smartest dudes I know. And if people know me, they know I don't call people smart just for no reason.
thanks, man. You
You
are
know,
too. You all right? Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
had some good times
I,
over the years.
I've always been trying to keep up with you and the other people in the smart class. So that's the only reason I got a little bit of education. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I love you, man. Thank you for taking the time tonight. Are you a Falcons fan?
Not
Who you?
really, man. I'm a North Carolina fan, so
Okay, so you're the
to be
Panthers.
honest, like black quarterbacks. They used to say black quarterbacks couldn't like what's the name. So I always cheer for black quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Because when I grew up,
It wasn't
like
many.
you
Warren
couldn't do
Moon.
it, right? You weren't
Yeah,
smarter
Warren
than
Moon.
Warren Moon. You couldn't you weren't smart enough, right? Or you
Right.
couldn't command a men, right? That's what we were saying. And then you definitely couldn't be a coach. So I kind of cheer for the black coach. There's a lot more now. So
Yeah, it is. It
so
is.
and I
And
cheer for North Carolina players. Like
and
Tar Heels, I cheer for Tar Heels always.
okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. For life, Tar Heels for life. And I'm glad you said that. That's a great way to end it. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime
I saw that.
called "The Evolution of the Black Quarterback,"
Right.
and for people who haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's because there's people that I never heard of
Mm-hmm.
that paved the way for the people we know now, the
Right.
Bryce Youngs and the Mahomes and all the like we do have a lot now because I was telling my son, when I was young, it was Warren Moon. That was it.
Warren
He was
Moon.
the only black quarterback for a long
Right.
time. But there was some before him that we didn't know
Yeah.
about because
Then we have Williams.
Doug Williams.
Williams won the Super Bowl. Doug
Doug,
Williams. He wasn't a
yeah,
great
Doug,
quarterback, but he won. He won the
no,
Super
he
Bowl.
was he was a pretty good quarterback.
He was a
he
pretty good one.
yeah
He wasn't a Hall of Famer like Moon.
Well, he ain't really get the shot neither because
Yeah,
on
Tampa
that
Bay.
documentary they talked about how they drafted Ken Stabler the same time they drafted him, and so Ken Stabler got the start, and
Right.
he had to come in. Well, he had to wait for him to get hurt, and he got hurt in the game, and he tried to go in. And he told him he had it. You know what I mean? So it's just another instance of us not being given the same shot. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We never
Yeah.
get the same shot. We know that. It's an unknown. It's a known. It's not even an
Right.
unknown known. So, but yeah, bro. Thank you again.
No
Like,
problem, brother.
yeah, and we'll do this again. We'll pick up where we left off, and I think people will definitely get something from it if they listen. But yeah, thank you.
No problem, man. Always. Thank you
Yeah,
for inviting me too.
yeah. The door is always open. And
Right.
we'll talk later.
Yeah,
Later.
we always have the same opinions, but except from different different places, right? We
That's
kind of
100%. That's 100% true. Yeah, we just saying the same thing in two different ways.
right?
Yeah. All right, man. Peace
All
and
right,
love.
man.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Talk
Always.
to you later.